Alright, welcome everyone to our second attempt at doing this. Welcome to TEW 2020, a wrestling promoter slash booker simulator. This is a pretty obscure game because it's a pretty obscure subject, but this is something that I kind of got an itch to record, especially since maybe it's just because personally I've not been a fan of wrestling for a while as far as the product goes, but I've always have been interested in wrestling history, the backstory, the build up to what is today, which has different views by different people. So, I've seen a lot of people do like a lot of different modern day alternate history mods or modern day takes up to like maybe the 90s. I'm sure people have done the 80s too, like the golden age and all that. But I've not seen somebody go that far back, at least, and put it up on YouTube or on Fantasy Booker's Discord server. So I figured I would give it a shot and try a run of the 1970 Territory Days mod. Back when the wrestling world was, at least in the US, I should say, and Canada as well, were divided into different territories that were kind of just arbitrarily set up by promoters who joined the NWA, which is National Wrestling Alliance, and a lot of people made money back in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s. We are going to be playing as the company Georgia Championship Wrestling. We'll be playing with JJ Dillon. JJ Dillon is not most people would know him as the manager of the Four Horsemen. Not really. At this point, I don't think he was really doing much management yet. More of a at this point a younger, like rookie wrestler. But we're just going to go with the sort of, there's going to be a bit of roleplay to this. We're going with the idea that JJ figured out that he didn't want to be a wrestler and more so go into a behind the scenes or managerial role, which will be mainly using him as a manager, but he will also be our booker character. I gave him the diplomat skill set, so if we look at his skills, which I need to remember what those are under, that's not it. That's our thing, or just our booking history. Gave him the diplomat, which basically gives him a bunch of diplomacy skills, for lack of a better. Here we go. Use some talents. Yeah. Mainly focusing on diplomacy with a 9, leadership with an 8, which is also going to be really nice in keeping the locker room happy. Creativity 2 and negotiating 3 are not great as far as us trying to bid for contracts and make new gimmicks, but I think we'll live with it. Motivating, I think, has to do with morale. The 4 is probably fine, and Silver Tongue, again, probably okay. I don't use that much, so that's more for, I think, talking to the locker room, etc., talking to individual negotiations. So, yeah, we're going to be playing as him, and we're going to be playing with Georgia Championship Wrestling, which, if we go to the company description, the first half of the 20th century saw action in the Peach State presented by such promoters as Henry Weber, Bill Hartman, Frank Spear, and Nat Jones. Yeah, no clue. Second half, however, ushered in such promotional notables as the owner and promoter Paul Jones and head bookers Ray Gunkel and Jim Barnett, who made Georgia Championship Wrestling GCW a household name. Though based in Atlanta, the company also run live professional wrestling shows throughout its geographical territory of Georgia. The Georgia territory, I believe, is basically the state lines, and then like there's little outskirts that they went to in neighboring states like Alabama and such. I'm not 100%. I know my state geography pretty well, but off the top of my head, at 10 in the morning, I couldn't tell you exactly what those are, and just because the territory lines were pretty shaky at best. it's hard to say. With promoters constantly going into neighboring towns and trying to, you know, while if somebody like if the territory that quote unquote owned the town uh, wasn't doing shows there, maybe run a few and see what happened and if they make money off of it. As regards to another challenge that I'm going to be doing for myself, I'm mainly going to try to stay between our main home arenas, which are I believe like Macon, because I think we do a lot of stuff in Macon, Georgia, and Atlanta, obviously, which is a historical hotbed of wrestling, and I believe one of the locations of Starcade, one of the first couple Starcades. Uh, where did I leave off? He's assisted by head booker. All right, so though based in Atlanta, the company also run live professional wrestling shows throughout the geographical territory of Georgia. While Jones still operates the territory, he's assisted by his head booker, Ray Gunkel, and in fact, Jones is beginning to be so infirm, Gunkel is effectively running the promotion. Regardless of who's running the operation, GCW is still rightfully considered one of the biggest territories affiliated with what has been the world's top sanctioning body of championship titles for decades in the National Wrestling Alliance. So we're kind of taking Gunkel's job. Andrew Lutziger is somebody that is in the game, but I'm not sure how particularly in history he fits in. I don't know if he just takes over as president while after Jones has passed away or just steps down. But Gunkel basically is like he ends up buying out Barnett's half of the territory and basically running Jim Barnett out of Georgia Championship Wrestling. And I believe Barnett ends up going to Australia to promote. Um, and Gunkel has there's a lot of different takes on Gunkel throughout history, and especially his wife, and which is a interesting story that other people know way more about. So I'm not going to go too into that. Um, Safe to say, we're going with the idea that Andrew Lutziger has appointed J.J. Dillon, seeing that Gunkel was trying to take the territory over, and we're probably going to fire Gunkel because he's kind of past his prime at this stage. Speaking of which, let's take a look at our office. We need 20 active wrestlers. We have 27, and we have Paul DeMarco needing a gimmick. We have a bunch of managers who don't have any clients, and we have no storylines running. Given your product base, you are expected to have some. And our production issues. We have some production issues. We also don't have a season finale yet, and probably won't for a good amount of time. We have to start off with $1 million, which is nice, and we have 70% and 47% momentum. These are probably going to take a hit because I don't know what we're starting Pop as. Let's take a look at that. But usually, yeah, 70 in the Southeast, which is nice. I just know my capability and know that it's gonna be hard to satisfy people to keep it above 70. 28 in Mid-Atlantic and Mid-South isn't bad either. Gives us some other places we can promote possibly in the future. Midwest and Great Lakes, I would mainly want to get TV there, though. Part of this challenge is, again, we're going to try to be staying in Georgia. Maybe if other companies get bought out or die, we could think about expanding into neighboring territories, but we're going to try to handicap ourselves and stay that we're going to be stuck in Georgia. But 70 starting Pop in Georgia is pretty nice. And I think we can't go up to medium until we have 35 in another area, probably Mid-Atlantic or Mid-South. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, now take a look at the roster. We have a pretty decent sized roster starting out with. Let's take a look at, we'll just go from the top to the bottom. Alberto Torres, probably one of the bigger names from Georgia in the 70s and 60s, more the 60s and 70s. Him and Ramon and Alberto, him and Ramon are the Torres brothers and a pretty big tag team on the babyface side, as in good guys. They were pretty well known throughout most of the Southern Territories. Top tag team for a while. They're both getting on the older side, so I don't know how much longer we're going to keep them around. Alberto himself isn't like spectacular, but yeah, as you can see, all of the tag team title accolades in pretty much every Southern territory. Also Hawaii for some reason. Out of Ramon and Alberto that we have, there's also Enrique Torres, but Enrique's already retired at this point. Alberto is probably the weaker star quality wise and just overall ability wise. He's a decent babyface, and we probably use him as somebody to help build newer stars, but I don't think continuing Alberto and Ramon for a while is necessarily positive for the company. And I think we're gonna want to maybe get new babyface tag teams in for sure. With that said, Alberto's stats aren't too bad. Very mixed, honestly. Not much in the way of entertainment, but since we are doing Southern wrestling, we don't necessarily need both members to be super entertaining. Only one person really needs to make promos, and I believe Ramon is better at that, so yeah. Well, we're all not bad. Andrew Lutziger is the owner. Not much to say about Lutziger. He's really not going to be involved in much, so we're just going to kind of ignore him. The Assassins, Tom Ernesto and Jody Hamilton. Probably the biggest heel tag team during Territory Days. One of the biggest. I mean, there's also the Fabulous Kangaroos and other people. Definitely had a major impact in Southern wrestling. Just two big dudes in kind of unique masks for their time. Bodysuits. And just beat the crap out of people. Tom Ernesto is getting older, but he's still like 92 psychology. Oh wow, power just fluctuated there. I'm not sure what the hell that was. Yeah, Tom Ernesto, pretty solid worker all around. As far as star quality goes at this point, he's not actually that bad. 53, despite being super old. Probably going to be our main tag team. They're still the NWA Georgia tag team as of now, and we're probably going to keep that belt on and off of them for a bit of time. If anything, we might if Ernesto starts reclining in the next couple years, probably take the belt off him and maybe make it a new assassin and make Jody number 1. Jody, on the other hand, 31 years old, still in pretty good working condition. He's got decent star quality. Only thing I really care about with the assassins, as far as I'm going to use them, is menace and their overness. Psychology, they'll get better over time, or Jody will get better over time anyway. And I plan on, again, getting him a secondary assassin to help out with that. Billy the Kid is probably getting banned. Something to note about the 70s is that midget wrestling was still a thing, and as funny as people think midget wrestling and stuff like that was back then, or small person, I'm not sure what the correct term is. Regardless to say, we're not going to be exploring that avenue in this game, so we're probably going to cut him loose. If you wanted to use him as a serious worker, you could probably do it. His stats aren't that bad, considering. Actually really good at selling too, so you could definitely make use of that. And high stamina, or no, high safety, sorry. The Blue Demons, probably what we're going to use as our secondary heel tag team. Rocky Tamayo and Frank Martinez. Lots of excuse me, lots of Puerto Rican workers at this time in Georgia. Uh, I'm not sure if that's a thing in Atlanta or not. But it could be. It could have been. I don't know if that's still a thing today, I should say. But at this time, there's a lot of Puerto Rican workers that are pretty high on the card on both sides of the locker room. The Blue Demon, I should say Torres and Ramon and Alberto are also Puerto Rican. Or are they Mexican? I don't remember. They use a lot of Hispanic stars. The Blue Demons are kind of like the undercard. They would be the tag team champions at the house shows. When they would do like the Macon Coliseum or smaller shows like that. We were probably gonna keep them as that. I don't know if I'll push the Blue Demons like as the main tag team at any point. They're both older, and I don't think either of them really has the same upside as Jody does. And Ernesto's still pretty strong. I will probably give the Blue Demons JJ, just as an introduction tag team for him to manage for now, and then just kind of slowly build off of them, and kind of use that to also catapult JJ as popularity as a manager. Not much to say about them both individually. You might be able to get a little bit more out of Rocky Tamayo. He's actually got pretty good stats, but Frank Martinez at this point, he's getting older. Might make a good road agent. Actually, either of them might make good road agents. So that might be something we consider for the future. Bobo Johnson is kind of the... believe he's kind of the same boat as Billy the Kid. He's supposed to be... he was the midget counterpart to Bobo Brazil. We're not going to be using Bobo. Buddy Colt. I have played this mod several times with this company, and I've always had issues with Buddy Colt. Buddy Colt is a decent worker. Actually, pretty good worker. He's 33 years old. Standard heel. We're going to try to use Buddy. I always have issues with him in my locker room. But we're going to try to use him and see how it goes. If worse comes to worse, I think he could be a color guy later on. So we might just suck it up and try to manage him. Pretty good heel. Starts managed by Homer Odell. We'll get the Homer in a bit. Yeah. 70 pop in Southeast. So a good main eventer. Buddy Fuller. Son of Roy Welch, who, if you're big on wrestling history, the Welch Fuller family kind of like ended up owning a large amount of territories throughout the southern wrestling territories in the States, and some of the western ones too. At one point or another, or they were bookers or they were high-ranking people in the wrestling industry. With that said, they also have like their own semi-dubious history about them. We won't be touching that much. Buddy as a worker, we might use Buddy for a couple jobs too. My main use for Buddy would be to get somebody else over. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he'd be willing to road agent, even though I think he'd actually be pretty good at it. We could maybe try to talk to him about it. But, yeah, at this point, not going to be doing lots of marathon matches with Buddy, that's to say the least. Charlie Smith, referee. He's a referee. Easy. Shadi Yokuchi. Standard mid-card heel tag team. Believe he worked with, at the moment, Yasufuji, but I could be wrong. Sorry. One of the big things that was in the more in the 70s and 80s, and probably before that, was that young lions from Japan would go and do tours in the States, and if they became big stars in the States, then they could used that when they came back to work in All Japan, New Japan, various Japanese companies, etc. So that kind of explains why in the territories there was a lot of like miscellaneous Japanese stars. Of course, some of them ended up staying, like Kabuki, Hiro Matsuda. Inoki took many tours in the States until he ended up owning New Japan. Um, that is not Chadi Yokuchi, with all respect to him. Um, he's a standard worker. Gonna be mainly using him in the undercard to get other people over, but yeah, nothing offensive about him by any means. Corsica Jean, 49 years old. I believe he's mainly a road agent at this point, or a referee. We're probably going to use him as a road agent. Because he's not really got the stats to be in a wrestling match for much of any time. And also his pop's okay, but eh. Probably road agent. Cyclone Soto, aka Manuel Soto. Of the Soto brothers, who are one of our younger babyface tag teams starting out, he's like the not so good one. Manuel's not bad. He's just not got the stats of his brother or the upside as far as star quality goes. The main reason why you want high star quality on younger stars is because they are better figureheads and they can actually draw money. Low star quality doesn't necessarily mean you can't be a main eventer. However, definitely means you're going to struggle to be a figurehead. And sometimes that stat can improve or decline. Stats in TEW are somewhat random, but also all have thresholds. That's randomized at the beginning of the game. Sometimes it's lower than normal, sometimes it's higher than normal. We'll see what happens with Manuel. He'll probably just be an undercard babyface for a while, accompanying his brother, which we'll get to later on. The size of Bob Nandor, heel Midcarter. I think he's Hungarian. Kind of plays up the, especially in Southern Territories. There's a lot of like European, like Eastern Europeans playing as, or people of Eastern European descent that were playing as Russians, or even Canadians were also doing it and getting away with it. Just because, especially right now, it's like just post Cold War, I think. So, yeah, not really much else to say other than that. Badass Russian gimmick. Actually, he works babyface at the moment. Interesting. Okay, gotta remember that. We might turn him heel. His menace actually isn't as big as I thought, and he is getting older, so might just like throw him a win every now and then, and just have him job out to people we want to move up the card. Don Curtis, very underwhelming, high popularity babyface. Yeah. We're not going to be using Curtis that much for anything positive. He's going to be a jobber. Much like the little people wrestlers, women's divisions in the Southern Territories were really just on occasion. Most of them worked as valets. As far as Donna Cristianello goes, we'll see. I don't really know. She's got a legendary gimmick, so I might keep her as a valet, maybe. But there's no real, like, Moolah is really like the only big star at this point, so we'll probably not be touching women's divisions that much at all until 80s or 90s. We'll see. Depends on how far the game goes. Dory Funk Jr., current NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Dory's really good. Like, super good. he's kind of lacks his star quality because he's an actual. He's a really good wrestler. He's a really good like amateur wrestler. Like just he's a what they would call a shooter. He could actually tie you up in knots and beat the crap out of you. Dory's our current figurehead. His star quality is not that great, and Dory's also the world heavyweight champion. So, us actually being able to capitalize on Dory as the figurehead, I'm probably going to be taking him off of it, and we're just not going to have a figurehead because there's no way we're going to get Dory that often. It's just not possible. But he's a really great worker. I could try to write and contract him and get him stuck in somewhere, but he's gonna be way too expensive. Like, let's see if we can see his contracts. Let's look at the highest pay. Yeah, he's on a handshake right now, which is like kind of like the most wishy-washy, and we're paying him $1,000 on like per show. A written contract would be probably 20 grand. And while written contracts also weren't a thing right now, that's kind of just something that the mod has in it at the moment. Safe to say we're not going to be able to keep Dory for a while. He's also loyal to Amarillo. I believe that's what that acronym. I can't English today. Which is him and his brother's and his father's promotion, based in Texas. So we're probably gonna try to see if we can't get a couple of good matches and ratings out of Dory. But I wouldn't expect to see him in the territory for long. Ed Capral is our announcer. He's alright. He's got decent microphone skills. That's really all we need from him. Yeah, we'll probably keep him around till he's ready to retire. El Mongol, old school heel, monster heel, push. Pretty high rated pop. Kind of deteriorating skills. He's just hitting his 40s, and that's usually when people start to go downhill. We'll try to make the most out of Mongol as well. I don't want to just job out all the old guys because I don't think that's necessarily accurate. I just want to get my big thing that I'm going to be playing with playing as JJ is going to be trying to get, because a lot of the people in Georgia, there's a couple new younger people, but a lot of people in Georgia are older. We're trying to try to secure the future, the next 10-15 years of Georgia Championship Wrestling, and get like a stable, steady crew. Greg Peterson, pretty good worker, technical guy, decent pop. Probably keep him around where he's at for a couple years and then start to slowly job him out. I'm hoping he also can be a road agent because he's got pretty decent skills for road agents, which is mainly respect, psychology, and basics, which are all stats that he's got pretty decent in. So, Homer Odell, Colonel Homer Odell, General Homer Odell, he's a heel manager. I'm trying to think of like probably the biggest name would probably be Bronco Lubitsch of people that he managed. Not sure if we can get any more info out of here. That's pretty much it. Basically, kind of like what Sergeant Slaughter, a bit of the heel Sergeant Slaughter gimmick, a little early on. Probably with more of a southern twang, and you know, he managed monster heels in the South for a while, so we'll probably get a good amount of use out of him. But with me transferring the head manager role over to JJ after a bit. Jack Crawford, another older heel, really can't go anymore. I believe he's okay, so he's currently managing El Mongol. probably get less use out of him than Homer. We'll probably actually cut Jack in the beginning of this, just because. Very over here. His pop's actually not bad, but I don't think we need that many heel managers. Jim Wilson, standard undercard worker, probably a little high on pop rating just for where he is going to be on the card. His stats are meh as far as like attraction. His actual in-ring work is pretty good. Again, probably going to be like a tag team guy for a little bit. 27 years old, so we'll be able to get use out of him for a while, and his stats should go up a little bit. So we'll see. Psychology is a little low though, so I don't see him being anything more than like a tag team partner for like a bigger face or something like that. Joe Scarpa, aka Chief J Strongbow. Every time I play this save, Joe Scarpa retires 3 months or 2 months into the game. He's the current NWA Georgia Television Champion. As it says, he's best known as Chief J Strongbow. Had a really good career up in the WWF as a tag team guy. As far as a wrestler on his own, he's really nothing to write home about. He doesn't have much star quality. Decently average stats overall. He's best known for playing a fake Native American. If that tells you anything about Joe Scarpa. We probably won't be using Joe Scarpa that much. I'm probably going to have him vacate the title or something. He might keep it for the first couple shows. And then we'll transfer over to a new Georgia Television Champion. Killer Kane. Another heel. I think he's supposed to be some like crazy foreigner. Was big in the AWA for a while. As far as here, not so much. Undercard heel. He's kind of an older guy, so we'll see what we do with him. Leo Garibaldi. I think he's just a referee. I don't actually remember this dude the last time I played, so that kind of tells you how I use him. Looks like he's better road agent, so we'll probably just keep him as that. Which it's nice to have cheap road agents, because road agents can be expensive. Also got really good referee skills, so nice. Buddy Wolf, the future husband of Vivian Vachon? Yeah. Although aka Les Wolf, in the territory right now. Okay, undercard heel. Most of his popularity is in Mid-Atlantic, which doesn't really do anything for us, so Buddy's just kind of here at the moment. Probably use him pretty decently. I've had a thing where the man underneath him, Pacquico, actually takes him as a protege, and Buddy actually turned into a pretty good worker for me, but I don't expect that to happen, so we're just going to use him as a undercarder, probably. The man himself, Nick Bockwinkel. Nick Bockwinkel is going to be my top heel. Stats are amazing. 35 years old. It's weird that Nick didn't get his breaks till as late as he did, because he ends up going to the AWA, and I don't think he wins the title until he's like 36, 37. And being the top guy there until he's like 50s. But Nick is going to be our future world champion, and we're probably going to work to get the Georgia heavyweight title onto him. I'm not sure where the Georgia heavyweight title currently is, but he is probably going to be the one to take it. Really good worker. I believe he's even got good color skills if you want to make him a color commentator. Oh, no, he doesn't. Must be another mod. Yeah. Good wrestler. Pretty decent popularity in the territory, too. So we just gotta give him good matches, and he'll keep going up there. Paul DeMarco, undercard heel. Pretty good stats for in ring. Start quality's not terrible. Yeah, 65. So actually, probably a little higher than before. Managed by Home Rodell. So that makes sense. Ramon Torres. Uh, out of Alberto and Ramon, Ramon is the better one. Better overall worker. Again, I don't know how long we're gonna use Ramon and Alberto. I would probably keep Ramon around longer and just maybe even give him like a feud with Nick or something. We'll see how things go. Ramon definitely has the better stats, though, to say the least. Start quality is not amazing on him, but better than his brother. So Ray Gunkel, we're not gonna pay attention to Ray because we're not gonna be using him. Rita Butcher, also not gonna be using much of. Roberto Soto. Roberto is kind of normally the dude who I'm gonna say this is gonna be my next big baby face. Soto, Cyclone Soto, is his brother. They started a run. I think they had a couple runs as the Make It Tag Team Champions. Oh no, they are the current Make It Tag Team Champions. Okay, yeah. We'll probably do a couple years with them as tag teams, as a tag team, and then slowly make Roberto into a solo star. Roberto just has a lot of upside. His start quality isn't great, but he's 21, so he has a higher chance of his stats increasing for a while. Really nice starting stamina, selling, athleticism. His psychology, I believe, isn't too bad either. He starts above 60, which is nice. Means he can do called in the ring. Which is gonna up his match qualities. So, yeah. Ron, that is like the worst picture. Ron West, jack of all trades. Again, probably another road agent because he's gonna be on the cheaper side. Maybe a referee. We'll see. Doug Gilbert, the professional. Another pretty good top heel. He is the current top heel, actually. We might do a thing where we turn. I don't know, is Nick heel or face right now? We might turn Nick face and have him face off against the professional. We really don't have a lot of strong baby faces, which is kind of going to be like the main thing I'm going to be looking for at the moment. Because we need somebody who can feud with Nick going forward. And professional, I don't think is a very good babyface. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Yeah, no, not at all, actually. So, pretty good worker. Everyone in Georgia at this point is pretty solid, as you're kind of seeing. Lots of big guy heels and solid in-ring workers, which is going to help us tremendously because that is kind of what our product is mainly focused around. Your product can kind of change depending on how you want to set up your company, whereas like a WWE based product slash WWF would be more focused on entertainment factors and entertainment scores. Georgia, Jim Crockett Promotions, Amarillo, stuff like that are going to be more focused on work rate and like your psychology rating, your in-ring skills, which would be basic selling, consistency, safety, stamina to an extent too. Athleticism can help with star quality, so you definitely want some of that too. Just more physical than the more steak than sizzle, we'll call it. Yeah, yeah, that works. Bugsy McGraw. I always have fun messing with Bugsy McGraw. I'm not sure what I'm gonna use him for. I'm probably gonna keep him around though. 24 years old, decent stats. Gonna be an undercard heel for a while. I think we'll be able to make a decent use out of him. Tony Rose will be around. Vincent Lopez will be active for like 2 months and probably retire. So no loss there. And Yasu Fuji rounds out our roster. 20 years old. Yeah, young lion on a not a pilgrimage. I forget what they call it. He's basically taking time in the States to become a bigger star before he goes back to Japan. I'm not sure. Yasu Fuji sounds somewhat familiar. I mean, he's basically gonna be evil foreigner. Uh, Low star quality. Not really much on the entertainment side, so wouldn't be a bad shout to give him a manager of some sort. But pretty good in ring, so we'll see. Looking at our contracts again, towards the top of the card, we've got Tony Rose is somehow up there, which yeah, I'm not sure about that. Vincent Lopez definitely isn't worth $400 a show. Don Curtis, Buddy Colt, yeah, that's fair. And again, Dory Funk Jr. definitely. As we get down to lower, nobody's like outrageously expensive. Everybody's pretty cheap, just with the day and time. Um, our definite main goal is going to be promoting younger babyface wrestlers because we kind of need those. So Roberto is definitely going to be a main fixture. But other than that, we're kind of going to need to start looking for that. So let's do that real quick. How long will be this video? We'll go another 20 minutes or so. Alright. And we'll just call this a setup video. So we want can work in USA. Based in, we'll say near Southeast. Works for Eddie. Near to Southeast. Rookie for wrestlers. And we'll say works for any tire. And you could actually get really down into stats if you want to, but we're gonna keep it as this. We're also gonna have owner goals, but we won't find those out till we move advance a day. Alright. As far as people who jump out at me, we'll just pop through this real quick. Okay. So for starters, even though they're not currently faces, I believe they can work both. We could always get the Blackjacks, pretty well known. I guess they're better known now for Blackjack Mulligan's. God dang. Being the grandfather of current. I'm not sure where they are right now, honestly. Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. Former WWF superstars, I think, but Bob Armstrong is a pretty good babyface for the Southeast. As far as younger people, though, as you're seeing, we're not really seeing a lot. Bobby Hart, Bobo Brazil is older. Boris Malenko is a heel. What if we? There's Chavo Guerrero. Not to be confused with Chavo Guerrero Jr., who is like Chavo Guerrero that most people I think nowadays would know. This is his father. 20 years old at this time. Pretty good starting stats. Overall, pretty strong babyface. Wouldn't be the worst. He does have like no pop, so that is going to hurt him. As far as that goes, Not bad psychology for starting either, so I definitely think we should consider that for Chavo. I'm gonna write that down. Chief Big Heart and Kit Fox, I believe, are the tag team that I sometimes take, just to have another babyface tag team. Big Heart can usually get a decent uh, score on his matches just because of how over he is. And Kit Fox is Kit Fox. He fits the bill. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of people in a lot of people in the 70s impersonated and kind of took advantage of Native American culture. Not to say that there are Native American wrestlers, it's just I don't think Big Heart is one, but I could be wrong. Oh no, Big Heart is a Sioux Indian. Is Kid Fox also actually Indian? Kid Fox might be more dubious. I'm not sure. But yeah, you see a lot of chief gimmicks with the headdresses and all that. Chin Lee. Uh, Cowboy Lang, Cyclone Negro. Hmm. Not really a whole lot of choices is the other thing that we're gonna kind of have issue with. There is Dusty Rhodes. I don't know if I want to necessarily take Dusty, just because I don't want to do the thing that I see everybody do and take every big star that's around them. I think that's kind of cheap and also kind of ends up screwing you over as far as figureheads go because you don't draw as much money if there's lots of big stars because only one person needs to be the top star. That's just kind of how the game works. So we probably won't be taking Dusty. I am going to shortlist him just in case because you never know what could happen. Things might not work out for us with the people we have picked out. Big Cat Ernie Ladd would be a nice addition to the roster. However, again, mainly a heel, and currently in a run with the WWF, so we'll shortlist Ernie as well. Man, there really isn't too many options, is there? Corey Guerrero. Harley Race is younger at this point. He's kind of during his thing in the AWA with what the hell is his name? Mr. Perfect's father, Larry Hennig, Larry the X Hennig. So, um, we'll shortlist Harley as well, but probably won't take him. Maybe we'll take Harley. Hiro Matsuda is probably going to get a written contract offer from the CWF, so I'm not gonna try. Matsuda's pretty good. One of the better junior heavyweights of all time, I would say. Jerry Briscoe is an option, the younger of the Briscoe brothers. Jerry does not have the popularity of his brother right now. He's pretty good in ring. Again, not much star quality. Jerry's a maybe. Jimmy Garvin is somebody who I almost always take, so we'll shortlist him. Probably going to be on the roster. Again, not a strong heel, or not a strong babyface. More of the swarmy, little friend of the bad guy. So, also a good color guy and manager. So, handsome Jimmy Valiant. I think Jimmy Valiant can play face, but again, kind of caught up with the AWA right now. Doesn't have high pop over here. We'll see. Nikolai Volkov is somebody who I almost always take as well. Um, you can't beat the old school Russian gimmick. Also, Volkov's just always, for whatever reason, been somebody I really liked watching as a kid. So yeah, probably take Nikolai. Norval Austin is somebody who I'm also going to shortlist. The Midnight Express is probably my current favorite tag team of all time. Norvell is part of the original Midnight Express alongside Randy Rhodes, I want to say. Um, Also, Norvell is was kind of part of the movement with Sputnik Monroe. Uh, Sputnik Monroe is an interesting character in wrestling. Um, having been part of desegregating wrestling in what was it? Was it Tennessee? I want to say Tennessee. Um, and part of that was because Sputnik was always a heel, but a lot of he I'm not sure if it was just his style or he's a really fascinating character. Um, he just attracted a lot of attention and a lot of fans of the African American community. But Nashville, it got to the point where Nashville wasn't letting people in the Coliseum, and basically Sputnik said, "If you don't let them into the Coliseum, I'm not going to wrestle." So Norvell uh, served as one of his many tag team partners. He tag teamed with a lot of different African Americans in the South. Uh, Norvell's also a pretty good worker in his own right, and his heel work with Randy Rose is also pretty good. So we're probably gonna. I don't know if I'll use Randy Rose just because on Randy Rose. Um, we're probably going to use Norvell Austin in a tag team though. Just not sure with who yet. Ole Anderson is no sure. Oh no, I already did. Probably not going to make my roster. Uh, Again, just not really a fan of taking all the big stars from around. Oli is not the biggest star right now. But he is uh, the starter of the Anderson family with Arn and I, whatever Arn's son is named, who eventually joins. There's a couple other Andersons that show up. Gene Anderson. Oh no, I think Gene is the founder, but they're one half of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. A really bad influence on your locker room, so if you are going to use Oli, just be aware of that. Oni Wakiki. No. I would use Siva Afi over him. Ox Baker's not a bad heel. Again, limited ring skills, but you really just have him there for the menace. And he's older, but maybe Ox. Hero Furpro. Pepper Gomez. Okay, Randy Colley. Better known as Demolition Axe or Smash. I don't remember which one. I want to say he's Smash, actually. I'm pretty sure he's Smash. I use Randy Colley a lot as well just because he's very versatile and a good worker. So, probably using him as well. And that's probably it for the time being. I'll let you guys know in the next one just because we are reaching the hour mark point. But this will definitely be the setup. I'll have the final roster figured out by next time. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you are interested in joining me, I will be posting these up fairly regularly. And yeah, I can't wait to see what the reaction is. So thank you guys for your time and have a great day. Bye bye.